ULTRAKILL. What is ULTRAKILL? As described on the Steam page, ULTRAKILL is a fast-paced, ultra-violent retro FPS combining the skill-based style scoring from character action games with unadulterated carnage inspired by the best shooters in the 90s. Rip apart your foes with very destructive weapons and shower in their blood to regain your health. The scoring system shares similarities of the DMC series, in which the score is heavily inspired by your score multiplier from being in the air, sliding, weapon combos, and so on. While the game itself shares a ton of similarities to the early Doom games, the pace of the game is very fast, making the player get used to the pace or die trying. Upon starting your first run of ULTRAKILL, you're met with a calibration screen, where you select your audio percentages and other settings. When you're done with the calibrating, you're met with this screen. You're given your machine ID, keep an eye on that, your location, and your current objective. Then the 3 sentences that tell you all you need to know. Mankind is dead, blood is fuel, hell is full. Then the game immediately throws you into the tutorial, and once you go through all of that, you finally get your first weapon, completing your original objective. This is where the game starts to pick up. The starting revolver's main fire is hit scan. As soon as you click, it hits wherever your cursor is. It's a perfect starting weapon for a fast-paced game like this. The alt fire, which every weapon you find or buy has, is a charged shot that penetrates enemies. This is especially great for taking out the smaller, weaker enemies and stacking up a high style count and rating. This weapon, just like the rest, works so well for the fast-paced action of the game. A little later in the game, during a boss fight, which I'll talk about more later, you get your second weapon, the double-barrel shotgun. Unlike the revolver, the shotgun reloads after every shot, but shreds through enemies when up close. The alt fire of the first shotgun is a charged up explosion that launches from the shotgun. The shotgun also has a secret interaction with your melee that parries your own shotgun blast to create a fast, tighter spread shot that explodes on impact. And I personally used this to my benefit. I pretty much all the time. Then there's the double barrel minigun, and by that I mean it has 2 sets of revolving barrels. It shreds through health, though it does have a couple of downsides. The ammo of the first minigun you get is reserved to 100 bullets, and it slowly regenerates when you're not firing. Then it also doesn't give as much blood return as the other weapons, which is used for healing. But it's still an absolute beast. The alt fire for the first minigun is a giant needle that you shoot onto enemies. This needle pulls in the bullets you fire, so you essentially don't miss any bullets. It's a great way to do prolonged periods of damage against bosses while you use a different weapon like the shotgun or revolver. Lastly, every weapon has variants. You can unlock these variants by purchasing them at the terminals right at the start of every level or right before a boss encounter. In order to purchase these variants, you need style points, which you get at the end of every level. The more style you achieve with your overall level grade, and if you complete the hidden objective of that level and found the secrets, will determine the amount of points you get. All these variants can be used at any time, so you tentatively have access to 9 different weapons at all times that do different things. The primary fire is pretty much the same for every variant, with a couple of exceptions, but the alt fire is different for every single one. I won't talk about every single one, as that would make this so drawn out, but I will talk about my favorite and the favorite of many others, the coin variant for the revolver. This thing is crazy. Its alt fire is a coin that you flip out of your hands, like when you flip a coin with your thumb, that. And if you shoot the coin, your shot ricochets to the nearest enemy's weak point. Not only that, but if there's more than one enemy, the shot can split and shoot 2 enemies at once. Hitting the coin is extremely satisfying, and I was definitely finding myself paying more attention to hitting the coin at times instead of the actual enemies around me. All of the weapons flow with the gameplay extremely well. It is very easy to go from using the minigun at 1 second to parrying my own shotgun shots the next, and then flipping a coin and absolutely decimating low health enemies. It is imperative for your survival while playing though to get used to switching between the different weapons and using them at appropriate times. But once you get it down, even a fraction, it just flows like water. During my time playing, I didn't really get that far. I got through the first subsection, then partially through the second, but the bosses I encountered were extremely fun, and some were a little difficult. Not many, but some were. The first boss I encountered was Malicious Face. This guy shows up later, which is a regular mob a lot, but when you first encounter him, all you have is your beginning revolver. It's just you and him in this really small room. His abilities are easy to dodge, but he has this big charge blast that pretty much one-shots you, and in that small room, it can be hard to dodge. But as long as you're constantly moving, you essentially won't get hit by it. You'll always be out of the AoE blast from the explosion as long as you're moving. The second boss I encountered was Swords Machine. While going through the level you encounter him in, he's actually running around destroying the mobs that you're fighting as well. His encounter is separated between two parts. In the first part, you actually get the shotgun after defeating him. He uses it against you during the fight a lot, as well as his large slashing strikes from his sword. Then in the second encounter with him, he's mainly just running you down with his sword and hurling it at you over and over again. But he's pretty easy to defeat if you just keep your distance. Then there's Cerberus, Guardian of Hell. He's a statue, and it's the same statue that you see a few times before you actually fight him. You also encounter him more as a regular mob later as well. He's the only mob in the entire level you encounter him on. He's also very easy. Cerberus pretty much has two moves, a fast pitch that explodes on impact and a rush that damages you when hit. But once you get his health to half, a second Cerberus shows up with half health as well. All you really have to do is keep your distance and run in circles, and once you're low on health, you just rush one with your shotgun to regain your health and back off again. But be careful, because if you defeat one before the other, the one alive will go into a rampage state. Not much changes besides he conducts his moves faster and he does more damage. Then there's Hideous Mass. During my recording, this was the first time I encountered this boss, and I perished to him quite a few times, but he's essentially just a giant scorpion. His chest and his tail are the weak points you want to focus on the most. During my fight with him, he continuously launched these explosive balls into the air, did big ground pounds that I had to jump over. He shot me with his fishing reel thing from his tail that pulled me closer to him, and just generally did a ton of damage. But after a lot of tries, I pretty much learned to just target the top of his tail as much as I could up close with the shotgun and regain any health I might have lost through my fight with him. And the last boss I encountered was V2. This boss is just really cool, but he's also a pain in the ass. If you recall the beginning screen of the game, your machine ID is V1, so it can be automatically assumed that this boss is just you, but better in every way. And it sure feels like it when you're fighting him. This boss fight makes you, the player, feel like a regular trash mob that you've been sweeping up almost every level, and that's the point. This boss is made to make you feel inadequate. It's made to make you suffer. And to top it all off, not only does V2 have every weapon you have besides the minigun, I think, and pretty much aimbot, but you also need to stick close to him. If you don't stick close to him, V2 enters a rampage and runs you down and chunks your health. After I perished to V2 over and over again, I almost gave up. I was defeated. But then I just stuck close to him with my shotgun and chunked his health over and over again, so that made me feel better. You also receive a whole new arm when you defeat him that sends lighter mobs flying, so like that's pretty cool and a whole nother part of this game. And I also know that this isn't the last time I'm going to have to fight V2. Even though I didn't complete the game yet, it's very obvious a lot of work went into this game and a lot of love. The shooting mechanics, the parry system, the movement system, the different combos you can do with the weapons, everything just flows together perfectly. And the story is very simple on the surface, but I'm sure there's more to it I haven't even seen yet. And the other crazy part, this game is still in early access. It's not even done yet. The development team is actually working on the third and final act of the game right now, which is awesome. This game has been getting developed since 2018, and as much as it might seem hopeless, it's pretty much just one fellow with a few others helping with art and programming, and they're still working on the game to this day. The game is only $25 and you get an extremely fun, soon to be finished game with a ton of secret encounters, weapons, and objectives you can try to get while mastering the game mechanics themselves. ULTRAKILL in its entirety, in my opinion, is an unfinished masterpiece. And I can't wait until the game is done, and I can't wait to dive headfirst back into the game and continue my adventures into the depths of hell. So is ULTRAKILL worth your time? I most definitely think it is. If you're willing and wanting to play a game that's fast-paced and fun and something for you to dive into and take the time to learn, ULTRAKILL is most definitely the game for you. And if that's not something you want, then that's okay. But this is most definitely a very, very good game. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm still learning a lot when it comes to YouTube and editing and all of those things, and it definitely means a lot to me if you stuck it out all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, maybe drop a like, and maybe I'll see you again in the next video.